The Aurora Forest, one of Eldoria's most enchanting and peaceful regions, basked in the golden glow of sunlight filtering through the leaves. Lyra, a young elf princess, stood in the clearing, her bow drawn, eyes fixed on the target. The tranquility of the morning wrapped around her, but a sense of urgency stirred within her heart. She knew her peaceful days were numbered. As she prepared to release her arrow, a voice echoed through the forest. "Lyra! An urgent meeting has been called," a mage called out, hurrying towards her. "Your father requests your presence." Lyra lowered her bow, concern knitting her brows. She swiftly made her way through the forest, the familiar path leading to the grand hall where her father, King Elander, held council. The hall was a majestic structure, built within the largest tree in the forest, its walls adorned with ancient elven runes and glowing crystals. Entering the hall, Lyra found her father in deep conversation with Alara, the kingdom's wisest mage. Their faces were grave, filled with the weight of knowledge and responsibility. "Lyra, my daughter," King Elander began, his voice steady but somber, "we have called you here because of an important prophecy." Alara stepped forward, her eyes piercing yet kind. "A prophecy that speaks of great peril and the need for heroes to save Eldoria. For symbolic artifacts must be gathered to protect our land from the encroaching darkness. This task is fraught with danger and requires courage and wisdom." Lyra's heart pounded. "What must I do?" she asked, her voice firm despite the swirling uncertainty. "You must travel across Eldoria's 4 regions to find these artifacts," King Elander explained. "You won't be alone. A warrior from Crystal Plains, a dragon from Shadow Mountains, and a siren from Misty Isles will join you on this quest." Lyra's resolve hardened. Though she did not know what lay ahead, she knew she could not turn away from this responsibility. "I accept this mission," she declared. "I will protect Eldoria." King Elander nodded, pride and worry mingling in his eyes. "May the light of Aurora guide you, Lyra. The fate of our world rests in your hands." As Lyra left the grand hall, the weight of her mission pressed upon her, but so did a newfound sense of purpose. She would embark on this journey, face whatever dangers awaited, and gather the allies foretold by the prophecy. Eldoria's future depended on it. Leaving the Aurora Forest behind, Lyra ventured into the vast expanse of the Crystal Plains. The sun was high, casting a shimmering glow on the crystalline structures that dotted the landscape. The plains were known for their unique beauty and the skilled warriors who inhabited them. As she walked through a bustling market, Lyra marveled at the array of goods and the lively atmosphere. Her senses were heightened, aware that she needed to find the warrior mentioned in the prophecy. She moved with purpose, her eyes scanning the crowd for any sign of her potential ally. Suddenly, a commotion caught her attention. A group of armored guards was chasing a young man who skillfully navigated through the crowd, his movements fluid and agile. His laughter echoed through the marketplace, mixing with the shouts of the frustrated guards. Intrigued, Lyra decided to follow the young man. He led the guards on a wild chase, eventually losing them in a narrow alley. As he emerged from the shadows, he nearly collided with Lyra. Whoa, easy there," he exclaimed, catching his breath. "Didn't see you there, elf. What brings you to these parts?" Lyra raised an eyebrow, amused by his carefree demeanor. "I'm looking for a warrior from the Crystal Plains. Someone who can help me on an important mission." The young man grinned, his eyes sparkling with mischief. "Well, you found him. The name's Kai. And you are?" "Lyra," she replied, studying him carefully. "Are you truly the warrior I'm searching for? You seem more like a troublemaker." Kai chuckled. "I can be both. But trust me, when it comes to fighting, I know my way around a sword. What's this mission of yours?" Lyra explained the prophecy and the need to gather the 4 symbolic artifacts to protect Eldoria. Kai listened intently, his playful expression gradually turning serious. "Sounds like quite the adventure," he said finally. "Count me in. Besides, I've always wanted to see the other regions of Eldoria. Where to first?" Lyra smiled, relieved to have found her first ally. "Next, we head to the Shadow Mountains. We need to find a dragon." Kai's eyes widened with excitement. "A dragon? Now this is getting interesting. Lead the way, Lyra. I'm right behind you." With Kai by her side, Lyra felt a renewed sense of confidence. Together, they left the bustling market and began their journey towards the Shadow Mountains, ready to face whatever challenges awaited them. With Kai now accompanying her, Lyra felt a renewed sense of determination as they traveled towards the Shadow Mountains. The journey was long and fraught with dangers, but she knew they had to press on to find the dragon foretold by the prophecy. The landscape gradually shifted from the shimmering crystal plains to rocky terrain, and the air grew colder as they approached the foothills of the Shadow Mountains. The path was treacherous, filled with jagged rocks and steep inclines. One evening, as they set up camp by a small stream, Kai tried to lighten the mood. "You know, I've heard dragons aren't as scary as they seem. Maybe we can just ask this one nicely to join us." Lyra chuckled, appreciating his attempt to ease the tension. "I somehow doubt it will be that simple. Dragons are proud and powerful creatures. We'll need to prove ourselves worthy." Kai nodded, his playful demeanor giving way to seriousness. "I get it. But whatever comes our way, we'll face it together." As night fell, the two took turns keeping watch, ever vigilant for any signs of danger. The darkness was thick, and the howling wind carried eerie sounds that kept them on edge. The next day, they continued their ascent, the path becoming increasingly challenging. They encountered treacherous cliffs and narrow ledges, testing their agility and courage. At one point, Lyra slipped, but Kai was quick to catch her, pulling her back to safety. "Careful there," he said, his voice laced with concern. "We can't afford to lose you." Lyra nodded, grateful for his quick reflexes. "Thank you, Kai. I'll be more careful." As they climbed higher, the air grew thin and the cold more biting. They knew they were getting closer to the dragon's lair. The mountain was said to be home to many dragons, but they were searching for a specific one, Drake, the exiled dragon. As they rounded a bend, they came face to face with a group of goblins. The creatures were small but fierce, armed with crude weapons and driven by a fierce loyalty to the mountain's dragons. A fight was inevitable. Kai drew his sword, his stance ready for battle. "Stay behind me, Lyra. I'll handle this." Lyra, however, was not one to shy away from a fight. Drawing her bow, she fired an arrow that struck the nearest goblin, causing it to fall back. "We fight together," she said firmly. The battle was intense. The goblins were relentless, but Lyra and Kai fought with precision and determination. Their teamwork was seamless, each anticipating the other's moves. As the last goblin fell, they took a moment to catch their breath. "Well, that was fun," Kai said, a grin spreading across his face. "But we better keep moving. I have a feeling the dragon won't be far." Lyra nodded, scanning the horizon. "You're right. Let's keep going." As they ventured further into the mountain, the air crackled with a strange energy. They could sense they were close. Finally, they reached a vast cave entrance, the ground littered with bones and scorched rocks. "This must be it," Lyra whispered, her heart pounding. "Drake's lair." With a deep breath, they entered the cave, ready to face the dragon and prove themselves worthy of his alliance.